Hello my lovelies, welcome back to another YouTube video. I was about to say YouTube channel. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome back to another weekly video. So by the title of today's video, I am going to be telling you what books I read in June and what the books I want to read in July are going to be about. So with that being said, I'm just going to jump right into it. So how many times am I going to say so? Oh my god. So I read a couple of books. I don't know the exact number because I didn't keep track of how many books I read. I just kept reading, trying to get out of a book slump, but I feel like I am out. So the first book that I'm going to tell you that I read is that I reread The Deal by Elle Kennedy. I enjoyed it. I did read it a year ago and I absolutely loved it. It got me back into reading. And I don't have any physical copies of the books that I have because all the books that I read this month are on my Kindle. Right? On my Kindle. I want to get it out. So I read The Deal, and that is Garrett and Welles's book. I enjoyed it, but I gave it a 4.5 star. I gave it a 5 star last year in my books, but I just, yeah, it's kind of cringe looking back on it, but I enjoyed it. I ate it up the first time that I read it, but the second time I read a few more books this time around, so I'm kind of like, yeah, there are better books than this, but I enjoyed it. And then the first time, because I didn't continue on reading the series last year, so all the books that are in that series I read, but I didn't read The Score. Nope. What's Tucker's book? I can't remember, but there's Tucker and another girl, and they have the book, but I don't really want to read it because it has a pregnancy trope in it and I don't know if it's well done, so I'm kind of pushing that off to the side. But I did read The Mistake and The Score. That's what they look like. And so I rated The Mistake 4 stars just because, like, I could see the appeal to that book. It was kind of cringe and there are better books than that, but I enjoyed it. So if I enjoy it, that's a 4 stars, but if I really enjoy it and I keep thinking about it, that's a 5 star. That is about John Logan and Grace's book, and it's a weird concept. It's kind of toxic, but what are you gonna do? It's a book, it's out, it's published. I read it from cover to cover, but yeah, it's a 4 stars. Maybe even like a 3.75 stars. Just because like Elle Kennedy's writing is kind of cringe, looking back at it. But if I tell you the other books I'm going to be reading, you'll probably be like, Ella, that is also kind of cringe. But I also read The Score, which is the 3rd book in the series. It is Ali and Dean's book, and I enjoyed this more than The Mistake and The Deal. I reckon this is probably one of the best books that I have read in that series, considering that I haven't read the 4th book and the epilogue book. But I enjoyed it. That was a 4.25 stars. Just because they had a lot of like chemistry, a lot of like angst in their relationship. And then after that I read The Inmate by Frida McFadden. This was a 5-star book. That was a 5-star book. I read this book before The Housemaid. I haven't really read The Housemaid. I got it to chapter 3, but I haven't read more than that. But The Inmate, ate that up. That was such a good book. Just, I love her writing so much. It's so good. But I feel like I am horrible at explaining thrillers, because if I was like, oh, like this happened, then I'm gonna ruin it. So I'm just not gonna tell you. Go into it blind, okay? Basically all that you need to know is that it's about a nurse, and she goes to a high facility prison, and the one of the prisoners in that prison is her ex-boyfriend that she has a kid with, and the ex-boyfriend tried to kill her. Yeah, that's basically the whole story. But you gotta try and find out like why he did that. So yeah. Then I read I love this series. So I have read the Corrupt and Hideaway in the Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas. Now, yes, they did come out in 2015. I do know that. Yes, and I also do know that this is an 18+ book. Do not read it if you are not under 18. Okay? Please do not. I just don't recommend you read this series. I don't recommend if you have PTSD from an assault or if you've been raped, because there is a lot of sexual assault in this book, a lot of abuse, a lot of like physical, mental and drug and alcohol substance abuse. A lot of that in there. It does say that it is an 18+ book when you download it on a Kindle. But I am 19 turning 20, so I can read this book and I loved it. Corrupt, it did come out, this whole series came out in 2015, 2016. So it's coming up to like 9 years being out. And I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Corrupt is a 5-star book, okay? Hideaway is a 5-star book. I have 3 5-star books this year, and guess what? They are not like the books like Fourth Wing. They are not the books that are currently trending at the moment. I kind of try and stay away from trending books because I feel like they influence my brain a lot. So I try and figure out books that I want to read at the moment. So I downloaded all of Penelope Douglas's books because they are free on Kindle Unlimited at the moment. And yeah, I just like it. So in Corrupt we have Michael and Erica. They are basically, they've known each other since they were little. Like Michael watched Erica being born. There's an age gap. He's 3 years older than Erica. There's money, so they have, it's like a billionaire trope. So this whole series revolves around the 4 horsemen, which is Michael Crest, Kai Mori, Damon Torrance, and William Grayson III. And they are the beloved sons of Thunder Bay, which is where it's set. It's in like a little small town on the coast. So this series revolves around those 4 horsemen, their love interests, and then we get flashbacks of present time and Devil's Night. So in the first book we got 3 years ago, which happened between Michael and Erica. And so that's their first book. And Devil's Night is on the 30th of October, not the 31st, I think. That's what I'm gathering. It's like the day before Halloween. And on Devil's Night, they just let loose. They vandalize houses, burn down houses, beat up cops, steal, they party and all that kind of stuff. They do highway dragging, they use speed and all that kind of stuff. They basically create trouble in Thunder Bay. And so we get flashbacks of past and present times also with the love interests. It's your point of view. So you also get Michael, Erica, and then in the second book, which is called Hideaway, we get Kai and Banks. Their book is 6 years ago, so you get present and then 6 years ago, which puts them into just graduating high school. So in the present time, they're around 19, 21, 22 years old, and then in the flashbacks, they are just about to graduate in the second book, and in the first book, that's 3 years, so they're a few years out of high school into college. They are also basketball players, all the 4 horsemen. It's very toxic, and yeah, it's a lot more than what people explain. It is kind of hard to explain when you haven't read the books, but it's once you've reading the books and you're in and you get to see like all the background, you kind of understand why people are like, this is so toxic, but it's a good kind of toxic because you know that it's not true, but just reading about it, you're just like, oh my god. Oh, there's also some spicy scenes throughout this book. In all books, I'm guessing, but in the first and the second book, which is what I've read, there are spicy scenes. So it is recommended that you do not read this unless you're 18 plus. But that's all the books that I've read, which is, I read 5 books this month. So yeah, I'm gonna go fill up my TBR jar. I'm gonna tell you some prompts in them as well. And yeah, we're gonna go pick out my TBR. So I've just started, and I thought I would just show you my TBR jar that I'm making at the moment. Can you see? Yeah. So I'm making it at the moment. But I have a few in here already, so I just wanted to show you what I'm doing. So I just cut up some pieces of paper. I used line paper because I thought it would be easier to set out my like lines and make sure that they're all even. So I didn't do it with like the first 4 prompts, but I did it with the rest. So they're 2 lines. So I'm gonna go right on them, and if it's not looking quite full, then I'll just keep going. And I'll tell you what I'm gonna write on them. So this can go with a Kindle book, so you might not have physical copy books, and so you might want to have like a Kindle TBR. Or if you're like me and I have a lot of books that I haven't read, you can look at your books and be like, oh, I'm gonna do one that's purple, a cover that's purple, and then you could be like, oh, I'm gonna read Harry Potter. Or you could be like, I'm gonna read a book that's hot pink, and then you can read Bunny and all that kind of stuff, you know? So I'm gonna go fill this up and I'll come back. I'm back, and I kind of have it all filled out. So this is what it kind of looks like. I have a few more pieces of paper that I'm gonna write on it, but I really want to just start picking out books. Also, just a disclaimer first, so I'm going to be reading the rest of the Devil's Night series. Okay, I really am enjoying it, and I don't really want to be out of my book slump, so I'm just going to continue reading this, but I am also going to be picking out 3 of these in here, just because I can't read all the time, and sometimes it's getting hard to read. So it's easier for me to read on my Kindle, but I am also going to be reading physical copies. But just so you know, I'm going to be finishing Hideaway. But I'm going to put it into my June of what I've read because I basically am finished it. So I'm going to continue on the series. So in the series, we have 4 more books. So I'm going to be continuing the series with Kill Switch, Conclave, Nightfall, and First Night, which is 4 books. So those are the 4 books that I'm going to be continuing. So those are 4 books on my TBR for July. And then now I'm just going to pick out 3 books from here and hope for the best. Can I grab one? Okay. So we have a Penelope Douglas book. It's not going to pick up. There we go. So we have a Penelope Douglas book. So I'm going to go download a Penelope Douglas book. I'm thinking of Punk 57. So, because I don't have any of her books on my physical TBR. So I'm just going to download it. Plus it also helps because it's also a Kindle Unlimited book. So I'm just going to download that. That's what it looks like. Download. Sometimes I don't know what my Kindle's doing. So that is in my library. So that's the first one. Second book we're going for is start a series. I don't really want to start a series right now because I'm reading a series. So, a book by Lauren Asher. So I already have it downloaded. I'm going to be reading the 3rd book in the Dreamland series. I'm going to be reading Final Offer. So we got Punk 57, Final Offer, and then the last one mystery trope. I don't know what I don't think I have a mystery. Is the Inheritance game a mystery? Or is it a thriller? I'm gonna go with this. So I'm gonna pick up the Inheritance game because I think it is a mystery. I don't think it's a thriller. So I'm gonna pick up that. So we have for our July TBR, we have Kill Switch, Conclave, Nightfall, and First Night. Then we have Punk 57, The Final Offer, and the Inheritance games. I will also be making sure that I update you guys on where I am at. So if you want to, just follow me on Instagram. It is Ellah_Josie. And yeah, so that's what today's video is about. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a beautiful, magical, wonderful day, week, month, year, whenever you're watching this. And I hope that you enjoyed. So yeah, bye guys.